Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a late 2018 limited edition of 30 pieces for the Bremont Watches Altitude Fan Forum. That is a forum run by the company for its fans and collectors, and this watch is a special to that elite cadre. It's based on the 2017 Supermarine S301 design, which is basically a latter-day tribute to Big Crown no-guard submariners of Rolex manufacture in the 1950s. If you imagine something a little bit along the lines of a 5538, you get the general idea. Now this watch here is stainless steel. The steel has been surface hardened, so it's actually immensely scratch and swirl resistant on its surface. The surface hardness over 1,000 Vickers. Now, there is softer metal underneath, but what this effectively adds up to, if you compound the soft metal underneath with the surface hardening, it's about 400 Vickers on average, which compares to about 250 Vickers for standard 316 stainless steel. The watch is 40 millimeters in diameter, but relatively slender at 12.9 millimeters thick, 49.2 millimeters lug tip to lug tip, and a standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, so almost any aftermarket supplier or OEM choice in 20 millimeters will fit. It's a nice universal strap size. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see this watch is a good fit. I really do think that down to a wrist size of 14 centimeters, maybe even 13 and a half, if your wrist is oval, you're going to be able to wear this watch well. And you see, when you get far away from the camera, it looks considerably more constrained in size. It is not a giant watch, and given the vintage motif, that works to its advantage aesthetically. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, the strap is brown calfskin with a mildly contrasting stitch. It has that ecru tint of the loom. Then it is very thick with a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather that you can see on the underside. This is a Bremont factory strap in outstanding condition with a matching alternately satinated and polished Bremont factory pin buckle. Taking a look at the case band, this is the so-called triptych case design. In addition to the hardening of the steel, Bremont breaks out the mid case, which holds the dial and the movement, and separates them structurally from the lugs, so the watch can wear even smaller than it is. You can see the lugs are nicely crafted with a satin finish that is actually circumferential and laid down almost in wheel form across the top of the lugs, as though there were a continuous sweep of steel encircling the case. You can also see there's a lovely expanding polished bevel and then a wraparound design, almost a teardrop profile to these lugs. Not common on a dive watch. You have the propeller logo of Bremont and then a little gold accent on this no crown guard crown. And the watch, of course, is a dive style timepiece, which means it has a screw down crown and 300-meter water resistance. But hacking seconds, so you can set it precisely, and then obviously changes on the dial side compared to a standard S301. Let's talk about the bezel first. Sharp, satisfying, loud ratchet with a crunchy detent. It is a very pleasing thing to feel in here. You have that red triangle at the index, and that's distinct from the standard 301, which does not feature this vintage evocative red triangle. A ceramic insert for scratch resistance, and then the dial is a no-date dial compared to the 3 o'clock date of the standard 301. You also have blued hands rather than the white lacquered hands of the standard watch, and Felix the Cat appears down at 6 o'clock. Now, Felix is an American cartoon from the middle of the 20th century, so if you're not familiar with him, he was a cartoon character back when your parents were young. I should also say that he is the official logo of a couple of military squadrons, including notably VFA 31 in the United States, and then there's also an image of Felix on the side of one of the aircraft owned by Bremont, the company, the Max Holst Broussard, and you can see the Broussard on the reverse side. And so if you see theirs, Felix is actually painted on it. We have a Fotina look that's actually quite warm and handsome here. And you'll note London, because assembly and regulation of this watch is done in the greater London metropolitan area. So this is a British-made watch. And turn it over. You see the Broussard again, another change from the standard Supermarine S301. 300 meters water resistant. Nice of them to try to get a little bit closer than 1,000 feet. Not many brands attempt any kind of close proximity there. They usually equate 300 to 1,000, which is not the case. It is basically an SW200. Sellita SW200, automatic winding, 26 joules, bidirectional winding, 4 beats per second, stop second, and a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. So a very accurate and tough movement inside a handsome and evocative provocative watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Felix the Cat Bremont Altitude Forum Limited Edition of 30. And we're back with the Bremont Supermarine SE 301 for the Altitude Forum.